Grant, thank you for taking the time to chat with us, especially because I suspect it's quite early for you. And we'll get you to tell us where you're zooming in from. So Grant is the founder of the Office Hub, and we got to meet Grant last week. Well, Gio did. I did not get to spend any time with Grant a couple of weeks ago at Juicy. So he made the big trip across the pond. So Grant, tell us.
Lazy 17 hours in the flight over.
Yeah. So, where in Australia do you reside? And tell us about the Office Hub.
Yeah, cool. So I'm Sydney, Australia. And Office Hub is a global marketplace tenant advisory for flex space. So we've been around since sort of just on 9 years now. We are sort of Asia-PAC's #1 advisor for sort of the internet brokerage in all of Asia-PAC. We've hit the UK market, and now we're coming after the Americans. So we've now set up a team over there. We've got 5 people in downtown Dallas, and we're really ramping it up to probably a team of 30 odd people to manage all things flex when it comes to tenant advisory and servicing all of that.
So when you say tenant advisory, for somebody listening who is not sort of doesn't really know what that means, walk us through, like, who's your client? How do you serve them? What is what's your...
I kind of hate the word broker because it kind of sounds a bit sleazy, right? So we're trying to swing the logic around, and we really are.
Yeah, I guess we know how he feels about brokers.
Well, kind of, it's just like, oh yeah, another broker, especially when they go, you're an online broker. It's like, oh God, kill me now. That's like, so not what we are. But you know, we are a marketplace. We're like Airbnb for office space, right? So effectively, anyone who's got excess office space, whether it be service, co-working, you know, shared, a building owner, sublet from commercial, they can list it on our platform. And we really then start the whole Tinder dating process where we swipe right, swipe left. So we have about 10,000 buildings in our platform all around the world in 100 odd countries. And we literally then have all the live listings that sit within that as well. So we don't do the whole, you know, pricing from this, pricing from that, because it's just deceptive, misleading, and it's paid advertising. So we work with real listings, real time, and deliver real leads, which are super, super highly qualified. And the reason why I hate the whole online brokerage thing is I go back in my days when I kicked off my life in flex at working at Regis, and we used to get emails from, I won't say who, but some of the industry people that are brokers in flex, and they'd have a broken email and half a phone number. And then a couple of weeks later, they ring up and start demanding commissions and payments. I'm like, what did you do for this, right? Like, it didn't even help. So we built a whole model, which is super hands-on. You know, we really strip apart every single inquiry from a VO right through to an entire floor. And we go hand in hand with 15, 20 different touch points with every client, calling, SMS, walking them through the consultancy side.
That's where this advisory comes in. You interface. It's not just a technical platform. You really interfacing with them.
So it's not just a stick your listings on, lead come through. It's completely off brief. It's, you know, our team humans advising on the tenant and then marrying them up, helping with the negotiations. We even do license agreements for a lot of our operators. So we do all their online license agreements, take all the payments. So we do end to end, but it's a completely different reshape of how brokers in the world do it. I don't think anyone's actually going to the level of detail that what we do, being a marketplace and then also offering that full tenant advisory, the same as what the big commercial real estate guys do, you know, and clients need it. And I'll tell you why we do it, because we close more deals and we make more money, and I love making money. So why not do it? It makes sense, you know?
So Jamie and I were talking right before, and she's like, okay, so what are we talking about and who is he and all this fun stuff. So, you know, one of the conversations or topics that she asked about was kind of who your competition is. I mean, and it's funny. One of the first things I learned in real estate when I got into it is it's a combination of co-opetition. So it's cooperation and competition combined to some extent. And so, I mean, you and I had the chance to kind of discuss some of those things while you were here before you headed back across the pond. So who would you say your competitors are and collaborators are within the space?
Yeah, good question. Starting with an interesting stat, like we get sort of less than 1% rejection rate. So competitors are normally, when you send a lead out, it's a sprint. You've got to be the Usain Bolt in our game to get the lead out first. So the fact that we get sort of such a low rejection rate on leads tells me that our competition is kind of really mixed. We're not coming up against the traditional players like your Instance, your Liquid Spaces, and some of the other, brokers like that. In the UK, it's like ferocious. There's like 200 flex brokers in the UK. It's like game on. Every time you send a lead out, there's like 20 other brokers already on it. In the US, and centric with probably your audience, Instance, like obviously our number one sort of like competitor in that space. But they're not as hands-on, and they don't have live inventory. They don't have the level of detail or speed of what we can deliver. So in most markets that we've entered, we've done a lot of damage against the Instant brand, but by getting in quicker, faster, speedier, and giving a better service level. So the actual workspaces prefer it, but they're definitely a competitor. Liquid Space, I don't think I've ever been up against Liquid Space on a deal. So it's strange. Everyone says, oh, you just like Liquid Space. And I'm like, well, I guess, but maybe when I'm up against them on a deal, I'll soon work it out. And then
you don't consider themselves, I don't think, to play. They aren't positioned quite the same way. I think their model is more on the back end and giving enterprise companies the ability to find their own workspace. So it is a marketplace, but you probably don't cross leads the same. Yeah, that makes sense.
And then outside of that, it's kind of weird. Like there's not much. That's the whole reason why we're coming down under. So coming to the US, right? Like I just went, this is weird. I don't get it. Where's all these marketplaces? Where's all these brokers like in the UK where it's right?
Well, the UK market is so much more advanced, right? And has been around for a long time. They're way ahead of the US. So that doesn't surprise me. It feels like probably your timing is right. I'd be curious to hear, like, so 9 years is, you've been doing this for a long time. You were at Regis before that. Yeah. I mean, this might be an obvious question, but I'm still curious, like what looks different today in terms of like client base or, volume, or are you really seeing kind of a big shift in terms of leads? Or are we still on like waiting for that to come?
You know what? I started this industry with a full head of hair, and look at me today.
Right.
This game, it's like nuts. It just pivots. And you know what? It's not so much the game, it's bloody Google. Like on the 15th of March, we went off the cliff with leads overnight. And I was like, what happened? And then Google just changed all their algorithms for SEO. And we're all about SEO, right? Pins on the map, rankings and all that. So it's not just the industry, it's all the tech. And we are, we used to just be a, broker, tenant advisor. And all of a sudden we woke up one day and realized, we're a prop tech company more so because all of the technology we've built out to run the engine. So, we've gone from being just to get the lead, farm it out, call them up, to a really slick automated process using a lot of AI generated content, using a lot of machine learning, and using a lot of other AI just to wash the emails databases. So the industry's changed because people now want quality leads over volume of leads. And that's what we've learned. And in the size of the leads, it's like completely morphing. Like we're doing deals in the UK, which were, $1 million, $2 million, right? In one contract. And I'm like, are you mad? Like that's a flex deal. It's $1 million flex deal a year. And like, we scratch our heads and go, I can't believe that the game is shaped like that now. But if I have a big mirror ball, I think what's going to happen for the next stage from where I've seen the days of doing your 1s and 2s and 3s and 4s, how it used to be, to where it is today. Commercial real estate's pretty screwed at the moment. And there's a mounting level of sublet stuff sitting out there that no one knows what to do with. We're talking to a lot of the big commercial real estate groups about pushing that onto our site and being the marketplace for sublet. I think that there's going to be a real shift. I think there's going to be a shift out of enterprise in flex and back into sublet, because that inventory is going to hit the market pretty soon. And I think from a stage where we all started with small 1s and 2s, and then we went to bigger listings, and WeWork came out and said, oh, we just picked up a 1,000-person, deal, and they're taking 5 floors. I think they're all about to shift out back into sublet again, because that inventory is ripe and there. And we're all going to come back potentially to our core, which is that 1 to 20 packs office, you know, and your core serviced office offerings. Like the one thing I'm seeing around the world, you know, we work, you know, obviously has their challenges, but the core players which are making money at the moment are your core serviced office guys, not the creatives, not the big flashy bean bags and the podcast rooms. The ones really making money are the bricks and mortar, breaking up the space, having the normal serviced offices, and keeping majority of their space as rentable space as opposed to communal space. And I think
you're speaking Gio's language. That's how he likes his layouts.
Yeah, okay, well, we're on the same page there, buddy, because I think that's what's going to happen. I think these guys building massive collaborative spaces are going to get burnt, and I think they're going to have to start monetizing their space. And I feel like they're going to start clawing back that territory and building a little office here and clawing back, because I see the shift. I see the shift happening back to serviced office again. I think.
But also, Grant, you do have that perspective from your seat, which is that I mean, you're the CEO. I'm not sure how it's sort of into the weeds you get, but you would see operators sort of come onto the platform and come off of the platform. Like, I mean, do you see trends on like those that come and then go, like what you're saying, like, I knew that wasn't going to work, or
soaking up data 24/7. We produce a mad amount of data at the back end of our marketplace and our platform. We then mush it all up and then we share it back to the marketplace. So all of our workspace operators get insane levels of insights into their business. And I'm super hands-on still, right? I still get in load leads. I still go and help out with the team, even though we've got, global teams all around the world. It's just the DNA, right? But I am intrinsically on top of every market. I know everything that's going on, size, deals, everything else like that. And, the UK market is super cool right now, right? That is morphing super quick with, landlords literally just dumping properties onto their favorite flex provider, smashing out a managed space and launching full, 100% full day one, boom. Like in Mayfair and some of those markets like there, if the moment someone opens up a property or says, hey, just so you know, we're opening up a whole floor over there, literally it's the secret little network. And then before you know it, the bloody thing's full and you go, it took 24 hours and I can't even get my client in there. Like it's gone already. And that doesn't happen in the world, right?
Yeah.
And then you go, because we cover everywhere. Like you go in a place like Hong Kong and it was scary, right? Like I forgot that they'd been locked down for 3 years. And, but now China's coming back in, taking all the fat cat locations, and the rest of the world's scared to go back in there because, China's kind of starting to rule. So all these markets are pivoting in different ways. And the US, I don't know, I think there's lots of opportunity in the US. I don't know. I'm just not too sure exactly what's going on in the US yet. I'm trying to soak that up yet, but I think it will end up a bit like I think the UK. Like I think they're going to see these landlords starting to dump properties. Like we were in Chicago at Juicy, and I stood in firm space and looked out the window and started counting floors with lights on. And it was scary, right? I reckon probably
downtown Chicago's a funky market. Yeah.
Half the buildings had lights on.
But you also went to Dallas. I think I saw that on your LinkedIn.
Yeah, well, our office is in Dallas.
Okay, yeah. So that's a good contrast.
The freeways are too bloody fast, and I was like covering my eyes the whole time. So it was, but yeah, Dallas is like mad. It's like a paddock that buildings keep coming out of the ground off. But I was like, we're in Lucid, man. Like the quality level was wicked. Like really nice space.
What's really great job. He's a great product. Yeah. You like
really
his product. Like, it's smart. It's a good layout. It's a good design without being overdone. It's a good product.
No, I think they had the mix of a little bit of collaborative area in their offices, right? I thought, you're ticking all the boxes here, and they've done a good landlord deal to get in there and all that. So that's a good DNA of what I think is going to be the future in this game. But yeah, I think you're going to wait. I think there's going to be a lot of landlords dumping inventory onto a lot of these flex operators, and some of these guys are going to exponentially grow over the next couple of years with no risk, because no one's signing leases anymore. That's a thing of the past, right? So let's hope that happens. Lots more inventory hitting the market.
I do want to debate the sublease. I think sublease is not going to be a great choice for a lot of occupiers because it's not a great experience for the end user, right? It's not a product. It's just it's inexpensive space that might happen to be furnished. I don't know.
You just said it right there. It's inexpensive space, right?
You know, I get like, yeah, I get. So I guess for a segment of people, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. I still think there's going to be a lot of it that will sit because it's not going to be compelling for.
I reckon when you're punching above your weight at 20 plus people in the space, right? If you're going into one of the other enterprises, they might come in at $600, $700, $800, and all of a sudden you're coming up around 20K a month. You start going, well, that's a lot of cash, right?
Yeah.
Like maybe, and then you go down, you get a coffee, and there's that loudmouth guy sitting in the kitchen who's always hogging the phone booths, and it grinds on you after a while, right? And you can't get a meeting room because they decided it was a good idea to do free meeting rooms. So the prize pigs were all using the meeting rooms. And then you go, maybe we're done on this, right?
Right.
And
okay.
I think you're going to see people go, hey, I can get 3 times the space, a better fit out, and we can close the door and I don't have to put up with the guy in the kitchen anymore.
Unless that guy happens to work for your company and he's coming with you. Just saying.
Well, that's what's good in the US. You just fire them and then they have to go. You can't do that in Australia. So, but like there's so much inventory sitting there. No one's working it. From all the conversations we had, they're going, we don't know what to do with it. We don't know how to fill it. So once they work it out, once Cushman, CBRE, ABSN, once they work out what to do with sublet, it will be cheaper, probably better fit outs, plug and play, and they'll get smart. They'll start adding in the internet. They'll add in the electricity, right? They'll turn it into a managed space because how do you compete? How do you fill it? Just make it a managed space, a serviced office without the serviced, right?
Exactly. And no F&B and no,
I can bring my own coffee machine if I need to, but they may go down that path. Don't be surprised that these landlords don't go, you know what? Stick in a coffee machine. I'll have a girl come and clean it once a day and run the internet, do some of the basics. It's in the building already. And then all of a sudden charge a 20, 30% premium on the face value rents and away you go. Like all of a sudden you've got a horrible competition for serviced offices.
So Jamie, I'll tell you, the last couple JLL, I guess, proposals I've seen have been for like full floor or spec suite models, right? And so it's interesting because you step back and you're like, well, can the landlord do that? And you really think about it, you're like, well, they really don't know how to deliver hospitality. And so I think it's going to get interesting to see on some of these subleases and some of these things out there if someone steps up to add that overall experiential side of things, right? But yeah, there's a ton of it, right? I'll use Boulder as an example. We're working on an assignment right now, helping a group basically dispose of their location. It's a co-working group, and there's all of a sudden there's 34 buildings that are on the sublease market, right? And so there's so many different competitive opportunities that, I mean, we can't compete, right? Especially paying the rate we're paying the rate from 7 years ago in a super hot Boulder market that is now gone, cold. And so I think we're going to see that across the entire country in certain markets, right? We're already seeing it in your market, right? Your backyard, San Francisco, it's going crazy with people handing space back or putting it on the sublease market. And so I think it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out. And part of what we have to remember is, we're all about the experience, all about people choosing to go to work, but some of these corporations don't care, right?
No, that's fair. Totally. There's a segment. It's segmentation. I totally agree.
What do you guys think on a totally different note with the work from home at the moment? Do you think it's going to last? Do you think that they're going to rip the Band-Aid off and it's going to be work from work?
Well, I think the Band-Aid's already been ripped off, right? I mean, I don't think the work from home is, I mean, already we're seeing companies either have a required or a requested was a word that was used today. I had lunch with my CPA and I asked him, how are y'all working? He said, we're requesting that people come in 3 days a week. And I was like, is that a request? Is that a hard request or soft request? And he basically said they still have people, including principals, that aren't coming in. But here's the reality of it is there's only so much you can do from home, right? I mean, Jamie and I have experienced it, you know, recording these podcasts from home is you have bad internet.
Dogs barking. Yeah.
So it's not professional to bring people into your work, or safe in a lot of cases to bring people into your home. And so I think that it's going to stay to some extent, but overall it's going to be a hybrid work model, which is kind of what the immersive event is that we're having for GWA is exactly on that. It's the changing with the changing times and the hybrid work model. And so it'll be interesting to see how it plays out and where it plays out, right? Do I think that, you know, when you call an airline that your customer service person is going to be sitting, if they are US based, that they're going to be sitting in a call center? No, I don't think that business comes back. I think those people are going to take calls from home, right? They don't need the culture. They don't need the water cooler talk, but
although interestingly, so one of the only research studies that's been done on effectiveness and happiness of working from home is on a call center. And I can't remember where it was located. And I think it was that in the short term, they liked it. In the long term, they did not. Even call center employees, you know, there's a lot of reasons.
Like brain dead eventually, just sitting there going,
just you lose your mojo, you don't have the social interaction. You know, the surgeons, there's a lot of press today about the Surgeon General in the US talking about the loneliness epidemic. And, you know, Gio, you're really passionate about mental health. That shit is real. And working at home is terrible. I know, I did it. I'm sorry,
there's an edit coming up.
You know, but it's a big deal. I mean, you know,
I reckon that there's
a big deal. And so it doesn't help. It doesn't help, you know, younger people who want to get promoted. There's a lot of reasons for people to be, to go to work.
So I live in Manly, right? We're the capital surfing in Australia. So you go at your back door and you go for a walk with the dog, and it is a flurry of people in the water surf. Never was that the case before, right? I also think the hidden thing with the whole work from home is the not work from home, right? And I think productivity and everything else is going to start being a bigger thing with a lot of these workspaces, you know, a lot of these companies out there, like they're all struggling at the moment and they've kind of backed down on the staff and the whole work from home methodology. But there's a lot of people who are just milking the system, and that's why the whole work from home works. But if the shift comes back, and you're going to see more like the Elon Musks and all that turn around and going, man, there is no work from home. You've got to come to the office, right? If that happens, then think of the surge of traffic coming back. Most of the companies, if they're going to say, all right, let's get the office, they're not going to go and lock in a 5-year lease straight away. So they're going to come into something. And most of them have probably got decent sized teams. So they're going to come into a flex space, or they're going to move into a sublet space. And then this category is about to really grow, because I have no idea the billions of people working from home still, but you know, in that shift, even if 10 or 20% move their program over the next 12 months and go back to the office, we're all about to make a lot of money if we can capture that market and be on that bandwidth. And the sublet guys just need to get a voice, you know, like we've got a big marketplace, lots of eyeballs watching it all around the world. But, you know, if you go onto Collier, CBRE, and we've been studying all their sites, they're horrendous for flex. They're horrendous for sublet. Like you literally have to be a data scientist to drill down into their site to find out what you want to find. It's not even really there. So they're going to have to literally reshape exactly how their whole platform works, turn it more into a marketplace to attract the audience. Or they're just going to have their tenant advisors doing a lot of cold calling, which is probably not going to be the case either. So
So
I know.
Grant, I think this is a good time for you to talk about your database and kind of how your marketplace works. I mean, I know you've talked about, you know, your overall data sets in Europe and Asia, and certainly what you're creating in the US. I've gotten a quick glimpse of that as we looked at Houston. But you want to kind of talk about what you have, kind of what you feel the differentiation is, what the depth of that is.
Yeah, so we had a vision like a few years ago. We thought, you know, data's going to be pretty big here. So, and we've always, when we ask clients, you know, hey, what do you want? We've always drilled down with, you know, 40, 50 different touch points about, you know, what their requirements really are. And it's not just the budgets and number of desks and all that sort of stuff. That's obvious. We drill down into the full persona of the client as well. So we have different AI sort of APIs that we have that pull down their LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook profiles. It then pulls down everything from what school they went to what they had for breakfast that morning, right? It's pretty scary what the internet has. And our team are literally, you know, we stalk every single client who comes in, which is a bad way of calling it, but that's how we call it internally. So we rip apart their digital presence. We find everything about that client to feed it back to the workspace. And by doing all of that, it's created amazing insights into every single client, every single search we've ever done for clients, understanding what their business is about, how big they are and their growth, what type of space they're in today. And we've now stored all of that data with over, you know, 120 odd thousand searches. And we've monetized that by producing it back on our platform, which is our platform, and anyone can use it. We don't charge, it's all free to use. So, but effectively we've broken it down in a few different ways. So we have all of the data all around the world. You can literally geo-map any location, put in a radius, and it will tell you all the inventory, the average desk rates, the type of spaces, the mix of things, the average discounts, the average size per desk, everything you'd ever really want when it comes to that. So if you're building out a new location, it's all there, free to use. So rather than paying for some of the reports that are out there, which I think are done with the dartboard sometimes, right? This is real live data that's based on real live listings that people have uploaded. And we have 200, nearly just under 200,000 listings on our platform now. So there's a really good data set there. But then we also then map out all the data on the searches. So anyone is in marketing who wants to go, well, what's the DNA of the people inquiring in downtown Dallas, right up around McKinney? We have all of that right down to the type of business they are, the things that are important to them, the requirements, the urgencies, the size, the space, and all that. So straight away now, you can actually build out all of the floor plans to perfection based on the size categories that we've got in there. And then we have all the deal values. And in the US, we're new kids on the block, so the numbers aren't great. But around in other markets all around the world, you see really real numbers about real deals, real time, and all aggregated. So we don't share individual deals, but you can see the mix, the size, the real numbers to actually start doing proper forecasting if you're a workspace and growing. And then we also start doing some really cool things. So we've basically built it out so that we start comparing the product mix. So we'll look at the number of listings that people have. We then look at the size of each of those listings, the number of square meters per those, and we benchmark it against sort of a 100 or 200 yard radius of your location to go, okay, how do we rank against our competitors, right? And from there, we can start really guiding people with what we call health checks. So we can look at their business and tell them within about half an hour, if they've got problems in a center, I can tell them if it's a people issue, because we also benchmark what they're quoting versus their competitors so that we can see whether they're up or down. We can tell them it's a product mix. You've got too many small listings, not enough big listings. That's why you're not closing anything solid. So we can actually pick all the eyes out to help guide structure and consult back to the workspace. Because, you know, at the end of the day, their success is our success. It's really nice when you open their eyes up to data they can't see and help steer the ship for success for them. And that's what we try and do with a lot of that partnering. And then we also do a lot of analytics around the workspace themselves. We have an insight score, which we score every single workspace, because the people in the UK are amazing, right? They will do the most ethical things. Let's just say the people in Asia are a little bit more challenging, right? Sometimes you'll be surprised that another broker just happened to turn up on the day they're signing And no, it's not yours, but anyway, gotta go, bye-bye. So we now rank and review every single workspace based on how they engage with us, how they update with the clients, what feedback they're providing through the platform, and it gives a score. So globally, it means now we're understanding which workspaces are good, which workspaces are not so good, which workspaces are on the nose. So we're starting to also profile partners to make sure that we're working with the best, giving the clients the best, experience also when we send it out. But all of this data is about to really grow with this US coming on. It's going to be massive. Like that's a really data-centric place. And a lot of the building owners now are starting to talk to us and saying, hey, we want to turn this building into flex. We know nothing of flex. We can now give them the full DNA, what they need to charge, what size spaces they need to build out, what the likelihood of closing the deals are. Could be able to tour closing ratios that we show in there as well. We've got it all. So you can do all the proper forecasting with confidence. So there's no more guesswork. It's down to science. So yeah, we love our data, and if anyone wants to help with that, just reach out. We're here to help. And it's free. We're not charging for it. So it's the best data in the world, and it's free. So maybe I'm the craziest person in the world not charging for it. So who knows?
So speaking of crazy, what do you do to relax?
Man, I've got a wife who's like 16 years junior for me. So there's no such thing as relax. Basically, you just got to live on and I've got a 6 and an 8-year-old. So it's, there is no relax.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I'm down under, mate. So I go surfing and drink beer, put another shrimp on the barbie, all those sort of fun things.
So as a family,
I'm workaholic though, it's a bit sad. I do work a lot.
As a family, what do y'all do for fun?
Mate, we travel a lot. We love it. My wife's Swedish, so we're forever back in Europe. We're back and seeing the world. And we live in Manly, it's paradise. So we literally don't drive cars. We will be out and about outside 24/7, picnicking, beaching, surfing, living a pretty stellar life. Whenever we go on holidays, we always go, "What the hell are we here? It's actually better back home."
It's better at home. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but for me, I love my AFL, which is the Aussie football. If you guys have never watched any AFL, get into it. It's the bloody best game in the world. So I go watch that every weekend, play a bit of golf. Maybe my life sounds pretty boring, actually, doesn't it? Maybe I need to reshape it.
Well,
I haven't thought about how depressing my life was. God.
So talk to us about your Dallas team. I mean, you're growing it. I think you said you're to 6 people. You're going to try to grow in the US to 30. Kind of what have you been looking for in the US to help you grow your team and your overall footprint here?
Well, so the Dallas team, we've got 5 in there now. We're actively recruiting. Literally, we'll be adding 2 or 3 people every month from this point onwards. It's always hard trying to grow these teams out remotely because obviously the depth of talent is all in other markets, the UK, Australia. We've got teams in other places like Johannesburg and all that. So, but having a new team, they're trying to train them up remotely and get them really efficient is tough. So we're probably on the cusp now of starting to do some good things. I'm seeing the talent starting to pick up and the skill set starting to grow. So from this point onwards, it's grow. And our DNA really is not 30-year-old, 40-year-old experienced, tenant advisors for Flex. Our DNA really is young, nimble ex-graduates who are tech savvy, quick and learn, right? And are energetic because they seem to deliver the best. So we'll grow the team out from here to, I'd say 30 people by the end of the year. And it's really just down to science. We've just added 1,000 more buildings into the platform in the last week. So we're starting to see a lot more. Our friends at Google is starting to scrape and rank and review all those properties and starting to see the growth, growing like this because the users on site are growing at 20-30% a month at the moment. So every time that grows, we need to grow headcount. But we'll be, I'd say 30 people, not necessarily all in Dallas. We're going to have to spread the team to East and West Coast to service those units over there. And it will be slowly also moving into a SaaS play as well, because what we built out is a really beautiful platform on Salesforce, perfect for brokers and flex. But we realized, let's not be greedy. You know, our competitors that we work with every day, they're not really competing on the same leads. So we're going to start monetizing our platform and selling off licenses for other brokers, probably our flex brokers to use, because there's no tech for these guys. And the problem is the noise that they're sending in right now to the workspaces with a different format, different forms, different process is painful. The workspace is having to update 1,000 different guys on inventory, painful, right? So the goal is this for us, is to grow the tenant guys out, probably 30 advisors by the end of the year. But it's the big growth is to then start signing up anyone who is a flex broker, empowering them with all the inventory we got, the process, the tech, the platform. So it's a plug and play business for these guys. Now that may also extend out to commercial real estate groups. So we were also looking at franchising / licensing out certain markets in the US so that we can power a big commercial real estate group, plug in all of our tech straight away, train up a small team, and instantaneously they become the only flex broker in that market, right? And then obviously the other thing that we're building out, which we should be going live with in about January, is a full CRM for the actual workspaces themselves. So we'll be up against the office R&Ds, the Yardies, the censuses and that, but the difference being it's all built on Salesforce, fully customizable, one login to every part of their business. So instead of having a bit of this and a bit of that and all mishmash for a workspace and how you log into different things, you got one login, does every single part of your business, from invoicing to payroll to all your listings, proposals, sales pipelines, opening doors, the whole lot. So that part's going to be super exciting. But then when that all happens, utopia happens, because if a workspace is using all of our platform, all of their inventory is feeding perfectly into the broker network that we're powering, all their leads sync perfectly into their platform, so no humans keep punching stuff, making mistakes, feedback seamlessly passes, it becomes this beautiful land of no noise, right? So everything's coming in a perfect way into their CRM, everything's going out in a perfect way, all the deal values, all the quotes, it all becomes harmonious. Rejections become, you know, perfection as well, because if the lead is in, it follows a logical process so that everyone knows whether they've been rejected, not rejected, there's no gray area around it. So effectively, we kind of want to tech enable the whole bloody flex market and give them really good tech that's completely customizable, because, you know, if anyone could take our platform and do whatever changes they want to do to it that's custom for them, which you can't do with a lot of the other platforms out there today, right? So it becomes a pretty beautiful land. So that's the longer vision for us, like in the next sort of 12 months, to start powering workspaces, start tech enabling the brokers, start getting rid of the noise, get back to real live inventory, not, you know, pricing from and guesswork, and just start giving clients and tenants an awesome experience. You know, it's all about journeys, but if they can get a better experience with better pricing, better quotes, better technology, better dashboards, better engagement, then hopefully we all get better deals and we all make better money and better.
Make no small plans.
Yeah. I don't think I can lose any more hair out of this. So I'm good.
I know, I can totally see why. You said a lot of really interesting things. I mean, data is a huge gap in our industry. And, you know, going after the sort of space management CRM play is also a big deal on its own. So you got a lot going on.
There's a lot of competition in this space, and some of these guys are behemoths, which doesn't really scare me. Like, we've got a massive network. Everyone who's using our platform, who really get to use it, love it, right? And it is one of those things. It's a bit adaptive. We make people do things they don't want to do and verify quotes and update things, but that's called business. But we know the power of what we've built. You know, we are doing a Series A at the moment, talking to the biggest, you know, players in the world. And we're demoing to the biggest players in the world, and everyone's like, holy crap, that is insane what you built. So we know that we've got a really cool product, and it's going to be great to put that product into the hands of these workspaces to give them an awesome experience as well, so that they can run their businesses a lot better with one data set, one login, pure information coming in and out for everyone, no mistakes, no double entry and human input. I think businesses, the workspaces will have a far better journey having one system that works across the board than broken pieces that kind of talk to each other and kind of don't. And that's how it is today, right? Unfortunately.
Well, we know that you've already bought your ticket for GWA in the fall. So excited.
That's true.
Yeah.
Oh, good. Awesome. Great.
So he's already got his flight. So excited to connect with you again in person. Certainly there's a bunch of stuff that, we've talked about and plan to do. And I know that you are excited to be more involved with GWA on a US level and also an international level, but also the data, right? I mean, you've been very open with being willing to share that. And so I think that's what we need a lot more of, as Jamie discussed, is people that are willing to help the industry as a whole by aggregating different data sources so that we do have more science to kind of help the industry grow as a whole. Everything from the traditional real estate to the capital markets to the enterprise businesses. I mean, the more information we have, the better educated we can be to make decisions. And so I think that's one of the things I enjoyed most about speaking to you, was just your openness and willingness to have an open book about that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You know what? Good data means you're making good decisions, and like, nothing hurts me more when I see an operator go bust because you got fed a lot of crap about opening a location and the promises of making $1 million overnight. And if we can block some of that, and a lot of companies come to us and say, hey, I've been told this, what do you think? And I just look up the numbers and go, maybe it's not going to happen. Like, no, run fast, but go around the corner. Something good's there. So yeah. If anyone out there in Flexland in the US or whatever is watching and needs help, advice, reach out. Like, whether you work with us or not, like, we'll talk, we'll help. Like, at the end of the day, we've got all that data, and if we don't have it, it's slowly building in the back end in the newer markets like the US, and we can definitely advise, of where we're at and what the future looks like as well.
Love it. Yeah. Thanks for spending this time with us. And I look forward to spending a little more time with you when you come back in September.
Yeah, that sounds good. I'm going to go off and have an egg back and roll now. So, and
there you go.
Have a great day, Grant. Thank you. Take care.
See you guys. All the best. Bye.
Bye.